and welcome to yet another Contrarians commentary track, this time over The Exorcist II, The Heretic, 1977. Julio, I knew we would be in for a bit of a journey when we came up with this idea, but the just a little spoiler, in stark contrast to our first commentary, I don't think we're going to have as much fun, at least in terms of enjoying the film.
The immediate drop in quality from one installment to the other.
But the promise of Exorcist III can keep us afloat.
Yes, but can you imagine? Because when Exorcist II came out, there was no promise of Exorcist III, or if there was.
It was 13 years until they got another one. This one sank the franchise for a moment in time.
Yeah, you watch this and your first thought is, I do not want an Exorcist III. The idea of an Exorcist III is scarier than anything that happens in Exorcist II, The Heretic, which, by the way, I'm sure you all know, but just to make it clear, this is not the Hugh Grant movie from last year, a couple of years ago. That's just Heretic. And that movie has nothing to do with Exorcist II, The Heretic. That movie is actually a good movie. So
thank you for
after
clarifying.
You're done, after you're done with this, if you want to pick up your spirits, check out Hugh Grant's Heretic. And there's no possessions there, but there's a lot of creepy stuff. So that's a good way to wash off the stink of Exorcist II. Alex, I'd seen this before. Now you have, because you had to prepare for this. But before this was, you barely knew of its existence. Is that right?
Yeah, I knew it existed. I knew it was like notoriously bad. And then also I knew that Exorcist III basically retcons the existence of Exorcist II, and it's just a direct sequel to the first one. That's about I knew Linda Blair was in it. That was about the extent of it.
All right. Well, I look forward to hearing in detail how you felt watching this and how you feel watching it now. We are about to watch it on Tubi, because if we can avoid paying for Exorcist II, The Heretic, we should.
Agreed.
But we are going to, obviously, we are going to get the commercials you guys want. We're going to edit out the pauses in between commercials whenever we get them. So rest assured, you're not going to have to resync stuff. But I'm ready to go, Alex, if you want to count us down.
Yeah, let's go ahead and get this started. All right. 3, 2, 1, play. Very ominous Warner Brothers logo.
This ain't your daddy's Exorcist.
Oh, we're getting the credits
Richard
before
Burton?
No. Should I? I know Max von Sydow.
Yes. Man, Linda Blair credited above Max von Sydow.
She got top billing.
Yeah.
The Heretic.
Wasn't Richard Burton one of Elizabeth Taylor's husbands?
That's right. He was in Cleopatra and James Earl Jones. You know who else was in Cleopatra?
Elizabeth Taylor?
Martin Landau, and he went on to star in Ready to Rumble.
I think you say he went on to provide a fantastic supporting role in Rounders.
That too. I mean, he's great all around. Pun intended. All right, we hear like the shrieks and cries here, the opening score. I mean, obviously, Julio, one of the things this movie does is delves further into like the global scale of this than the original. I know we start off in the Middle East in the OG, to, a bit of world building and character building, but is it safe to say this one kind of overthinks it a little bit?
Like, surely they must want some lore. Let's get them more lore. All the questions you never asked about Pazuzu, answered here.
There's Richard Burton pulling up to pull. Oh, man. And he's got his Max von Sydow trading card there.
Yeah. That's not how I thought you spell Lancaster, Marin. John Boorman, the director, I had to pull him up because I was like, what else has this guy done? And Excalibur, apparently. Oh, here we go. I was looking at his producer thing. Man, nothing I've seen. Seth.
Oh, he's a director.
Short in 2001.
Director of Deliverance.
Okay. Now there's a scary movie.
It's true. And he did that before this. So that... Oh, and he did Zardoz, that Sean Connery movie.
Infamous.
Very, yes.
What caught my eye was his 35-minute short in 2001 called Two Nudes Bathing.
As it should. All right, this woman is possessed. She's throwing candles. Our priest here, Richard Burton, kind of pussed out. Look at him. He's terrified. What's going on here?
He's no Father Marin.
Now, this is pretty metal, dude. This is a pretty sick opening. When this was happening, I was like, well, hold on. This woman set herself on fire, and now she's
smiling,
roasting like so much marshmallow. Yeah.
So he was speaking Spanish. I got some Spanish there. Mm-hmm. Where is he supposed to be?
Metal. Let's see if our friends at Wikipedia tell me where this movie kicks off. It just says Latin America.
Yeah. The country of Latin America. And here we go. The real star of the show. First build. Linda Blair.
What, 16, 17? This is 4 years after. I can do math. So yeah, she would be 17.
So when you see a sequel like this, where like one person came back, well, two people, I guess, counting Max von Sydow, but then one of the main characters from the first movie that's still alive in the story of the movie doesn't come back, isn't that usually a red flag?
Oh, yeah. I mean, here, like, right away, we're going to get to it pretty quickly. They just repeatedly talk about Ellen Burstyn, but she's on location somewhere. She couldn't show up.
Yes. She's a busy actress. Louise Fletcher. Is she Nurse Ratched in One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest?
Is she? She is. Yeah, good call.
Okay, I knew the name from somewhere.
And that was just a couple years before this. All right, let's talk about Linda Blair real quick, because obviously we're going to spend some time with her throughout the course of this. My understanding was they offered her a pretty substantial sum to come back and do this, and obviously, as we saw, she gets top billing. There is something that's lost with her ability to connect as an actor between the two movies. Wouldn't you agree?
Yes. So what is it? Is it, and it's probably a combination of all things, right? One, that the movie's just not as good. So it's not written as well as the first movie. It's not, the story's not what the first movie was, and so on. It could also be that she's older now, and so she's lost some of that inherent innocence that she had on camera when she was a kid, right?
Which is a humongous part of that movie, is the ability to connect to the innocence of this, child. And she plays that role tremendously. And here, I think, yes, obviously, if the words you're trying to act are shit, then, you're not going to be able to do much with it. But we've talked about it with child actors before. She certainly wouldn't be the first nor the last to be able to really turn it on as a kid and then just kind of lose it as they get older. You know what I mean? It's so I don't know. She also has she still has a baby face here, but she's supposed to be more grown up, and it's like, man, what are we doing?
That awkward transitional moment.
Oh yeah.
From, preteen to teen to horror movie star.
Got to learn how to live in between all that, you know?
Now, there's also the weight, I think, of the previous performance, the previous movie. Unfortunately, this exists in absolute connection to the first Exorcist. So it's not even unfair that you would compare the performance or that you would keep her performance from previous movie. It's part of the experience. It just has to be. You know, she's playing the same character and she's going to be referring to events that happened in the previous movie. So it's like Exorcist 2 is begging you to consider Exorcist 1 in every scene. So that's an unfortunate choice. I understand why, right? Because you want to remind people why they're watching this movie, why they still watching this movie.
She still looks like a movie star. Like there was that shot we passed a few minutes ago of just like, you know, her at a tilt, and it's like, yeah, she looks the part. It's just there's a clear separation. And you're exactly right. It's if every 30 seconds you're gonna invite me to consider the original or the previous installment, you better be fucking Terminator 2 and just bring in the heat the whole time. That's a sick shot though, right there.
Big reveal of Jesus on the cross.
Oh, I thought that was Chris Christopherson. Fair warning to those listening to this in whatever time period you are. It's Sunday morning, late Sunday morning. And the Falcons.
The imagery is very appropriate.
Well, that, but also it's one of the international game weeks. So there's a Falcons Colts game going on right now that's coming down to the wire. So if I react loudly, it's not necessarily something spooky going on.
Has nothing to do with Jesus. And Richard Grant's got nothing on, not even Russell Crowe.
How present was religious iconography and imagery in your household and in your life growing up, Julio?
Definitely more than it is now. I mean, I think we've mentioned before that clearly, right?
Yeah.
I think I've mentioned before that Peru is a predominantly Christian country, and I mean, I know. I guess you could say that about the United States now, but in the case of Peru, like there's a very, you know, the iconography is everywhere. As far as whenever you're visiting the older buildings, you know, you go downtown, old Lima, and you know the big churches and all that stuff. But then, growing up, at some point, my dad grew up Catholic, and at some point when we were teenagers, he kind of started reconnecting with that, and at that point there was a little bit more imagery. Not to the, obviously we're looking in the movie, there's a church or a temple or some sort of, you know, Jesus is everywhere, not to that level, but there was, you know, maybe a crucifix here, and like I don't think we ever got the classic Jesus with the crown of thorns bleeding. That's
kind of what I was gonna transition to, that specific image. Like there was crucifixes, I was used to, but I remember as a kid the Jesus on the cross bleeding always like freaked me out. Like that's I have like flashes of that from my childhood that spooked me as much as any movie I watched as a kid, you know, because it's just so intense.
Yes. My great grandmother, so my father's grandma, she had one. I remember I would just like smack right into it every time we walked into our house. And it was just that feeling of like, it's gruesome. And that's not meant to be disrespectful. I mean, it's a gruesome thing to do. It's a horrible thing to do to a human being. And you know, whenever you see it depicted in movies and so on, it's meant to shock you. I understand why it's a figure of worship, you know, why it's a symbol. And if you're religious, if you're Catholic, that's something that you hang, but it's a lot shocking.
Yeah, it's a lot to ask a child to process as something being something that's like positive, you know?
Yeah. Right? And there's different versions. Like there's some, I'm sure you've seen them, where you can actually see Jesus's heart. Like the chest is open. And so it's like an x-ray. You see, but the heart has the crown of thorns around it. So it's like really fucked up.
In Peru, is it white Jesus? Or is it closer to probably what he really looked like?
Depends on where you look. I think that growing up, it was mostly white Jesus. Mm-hmm. Before Kevin Smith made dogma and just let the populace know that actually, according to Chris Rock, Jesus was black. Now I've seen him, like whenever I visited, in recent years, I think there's a little more diversity among the Jesuses.
I think it's one of those things, if I remember correctly, years back, science did something where it was like based off what we have, the rendering of what Jesus would actually look like. And I think it terrified a lot of white people. That's not my Jesus.
Jesus is Jesus.
Give me that Jimmy Caviezel back up there.
All right, so here's the two superstars. Man, I think she got, if not an Oscar, maybe an Oscar nomination for One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest.
Yeah, definitely. So yeah, what's their deal here? She wants Richard Burton's help because she thinks the demon's still in her.
Not yet. I think he's investigating, right? He's investigating what happened.
She thinks that she's a terrible psychiatrist because Linda Blair's like, I feel fine. It's like, but you're not. I'm just kidding. I'm not going to criticize therapists. I don't know how they do their shit. So
maybe that's the strategy. You tell her,
just argue with your patient.
Yes, yeah, get those synapses firing. Actually, Fletcher wants to protect her from this inquiry, but Richard Grant is there to get to the bottom of what happened with Father Merrin.
Yes.
And we get to, the movie's about to jump the shark, I think, because there's going to be the introduction of the magical machine.
Goddamn, pal. This was Louise Fletcher. She did One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, and then this was the follow-up. So this had to be, and she did win the Oscar. So this was her Iron Man 2.
A few years later, she made a movie where she apologized for Heretic.
So the marketing had to be Academy Award winner.
She gets third billing, though, I think. She was after Burton, too.
Tell her there is no spoon, Linda.
So there's at least a happiness that she carries with her.
Her apartment is sick as fuck, too. It's like that very specific, like right before the turn of the 80s, mirrors everywhere, sharp edges and shit.
All right, here we go. This is the bullshit machine.
Oh, dude, this is so bad.
It's weird because this kind of stuff, it's not, I'm not saying they didn't exist back then, but it definitely didn't work the way that they say it works here. And somehow I have no problem accepting that there are demons possessing this young girl, but I have a big problem believing that this machine works the way they say it does.
Dog, that's exactly right. Because like the big thing with the first one is science can't explain it. Like none of the medical professionals can like pinpoint it. And here it's like, there's this machine that's going to make the demon come out of you. It's, I wasn't really thinking about the players involved when watching this the first time, but yeah, Louise Fletcher, Burton, obviously Linda Blair returning. We get some Max von Sydow action too. Like they had to think this was a winning recipe. And Borman coming off the, several years earlier, Deliverance and shit. Like they had to think they had a winning formula on their hands. Did Deliverance make money in real time, or is it just? Let's see here. Oh yes, it made $50 million. It made $50 million off a $2 million budget.
Oh, there you go. They're like, he will deliver us another box office smash.
I mean, yeah, dude, this tanked, dude. This had a $15 million budget and made 30. Didn't the first Exorcist make like $300 million? $440 million.
So is that word of mouth? Like it has an opening that's decent, and then people are like, "No, this sucks," or is it just right? Because people would, if you put yourself in the shoes of somebody that loved the first Exorcist, and then they announce that there's a sequel where Linda Blair is coming back, and it has Academy Award winner Louise Fletcher, It has Elizabeth Taylor's husband by the guy who did Deliverance.
From the mind that brought you Deliverance.
Yeah.
And this is still, like I said, this is before 1980, so printed word was still like God, you know? So I imagine like reviews that came out in newspapers and stuff really dictated it. But yeah, word of mouth even more so.
Children running from one corner to the other. Extra, extra. Exorcist 2 sucks.
Exorcist 2 rotten.
Ebert gives a thumbs down.
Okay, so I Googled the date this came out. I was going to Google box office, but I ended up just Googling the date. On June 7th, 1977, the release date, Joe Biden married Jill Jacobs. And it was the first date of Elvis's final tour. So there you go.
A lot more important things happening in America.
Primetime programming included the TV show Love Boat and the movie. Oh, God. Nostalgic for 20 years before, 10 years before I was born, but it was the television premiere of Beneath the Planet of the Apes.
Oh, that's the second one. It was a follow-up to
what was the Bogdanovich movie we did? The
Voyage to the planet of
the, is it Giant Women or something like that?
Amazon women.
Yeah.
That movie's shorter than Exorcist 2, therefore you could argue it's better.
I would agree. It's certainly more fascinating.
I mean, this scene, it's been going on for a while. The hypnotism with the machine. And I know that they're trying to make it be a big deal, but
it's so boring.
Yeah.
And this is like I guess the idea, I mean, she still has like the eyes and stuff. So I guess the idea was, you know, her dead face in the first movie, some of the more memorable stuff. Let's just figure out a way to do that again. I also may have uncovered another piece of the puzzle here, Julio. As 3 weeks before The Exorcist 2 was released, a little ditty known as Star Wars A New Hope hit movie theaters across the world.
Suddenly, this scene looked very silly. Like,
which, of course,
use the Force.
As funny as it seems now, no one knew that Star Wars was going to be the smash hit that it was. My God, Star Wars A New Hope had a smaller budget than this movie did.
What the fuck is happening here, Alex? now Richard has the thing on.
Yeah, so I was trying to figure this out. Why is he going after the psychiatrist, though? If he wants to know. Oh, because it took her down with Reagan. And so she's
whatever
like,
yeah,
she's supposed to be one with her mentally.
And now he's never done this before, but this lady, she's just gonna walk him through it, and he's gonna go into her subconscious to like rescue her or something.
To me, the bigger thing is, why would Reagan agree to this? Like, I know they try to make her character say, "Well, I don't really remember what happened." Right. I guess that's how they get it. They circumvent it, right?
Yeah. That's what I was saying earlier. She looks so happy in a genuine way that I guess, you know, I can try, for the benefit of the movie, I can try to buy that she is completely put it behind. Look at that. Look at creepy as Azusa Reagan there.
There's Max.
So,
do you think that's Richard Burton's climax face? Just deadpan like that? Just stares into your soul, vacant?
That's what Elizabeth Taylor said. No more. So this is not
artistic
footage from the first movie. This is something they shot. This is new stuff that they shot.
Max's union rep was like, you ain't recycling that shit.
Today you would just AI the shit out of it.
But,
you gotta bring him in.
That's literally that. Is it Dark Fate, the Terminator one, where they just AI or basically CG
Oh yeah, John
Ed,
Connor.
Edward Furlong getting gunned down by Arnold?
I mean, he has to have gotten paid for that, right? It's still his likeness.
Yeah, you have to. Yeah.
I can see how you can get to a point where you're like old enough that somebody tells you, can we use your young likeness and we'll pay you? Like, sure, why not? I can't do it.
Oh, the scene is still going on, man.
Richard Burton, there's a pretty good chance that when they were shooting this, he didn't even know what he was supposed to be looking at.
No.
Like, just sit there. We got this.
So they want Louise Fletcher's heart?
I think Pazuzu is... So it's no longer a memory. Now it's like a Pazuzu in real time that's fucking with... Like, what's happening, right? Like, it's supposed to look... Yeah. It's a flashback, but at the same time, it's fucking with Louise Fletcher's heart in real time. Borman had stepped out, so Linda Blair had to direct the rest of the scene.
So one thing also throughout this whole sequence we watched, like, look at Linda Blair's face. Like, she's really like emoting.
Yeah.
And I think we've had this discussion too, because you and I have both been that age before. God, when you're 16, 17, how self-conscious you are about everything. Like, when she was 12 and 13, you know, or whatever it was, she was somewhere in that age range making the first one. If you have like natural instincts and natural timing and stuff, it would be a lot easier for a William Friedkin to just be like, hey, do this. When you're this age, though, like, I just imagine the whole time she's like, well, am I doing too much? Am I doing too little?
And it's such an outlandish scene that you have to be second guessing it, because you're thinking, this looks really dumb. I have to trust that it's not going to be dumb when they put it all together.
The secret to being a child actor is to be the main character from Boyhood and just be fairly unremarkable for your entire adolescence.
Of course, that means you don't have a career after, but you will always be remembered fondly by those who watched the first 2/3 of Boyhood.
It's kind of funny that movie already has become just that whole, it's anecdotal. Remember that?
Yeah. Even in Linklater's household.
All right, being positive, this looks awesome. The office with like the glass walls, and you see all like the sessions going on in the background, and like the exercises going on.
Production design wise, this is good.
Yes.
Somebody punching that thing in the background. Do you see?
Yeah, I had one of those that was the Ultimate Warrior.
You punched the Ultimate Warrior?
Yeah, and it would bounce back up. I have no idea where that piece of merchandise is. If I could find it, I'm sure I could sell it for like $7,000 now.
Here's what's sad, Alex, that in theory, this should be what I wanted, because this is more of the whole religion versus science aspect of it. Louise Fletcher, even though she just had a supernatural experience, she's refusing to not explain it with science. And Burton, of course, is very firmly in the camp of the supernatural. So this should be interesting. And in fact, a more traditional movie, and maybe something that people were expecting back in the day, is that this would eventually develop into a romance, right? Then you think people watching this would be like, oh, yeah, through all this horrible things, Richard Burton and Louise Fletcher are going to grow closer and become a couple.
Oh, man. I'm trying to see if I can find the Weekend Drop-Off.
Went from Theater 9 to Theater 18.
Its opening weekend was 6.7 million. So someone give me a picture of a marquee somewhere that says Star Wars, Exorcist 2. And The Deep. What was The Deep?
But that's the thing, like, it wouldn't, right? Unless they were playing Star Wars most of the day and then Exorcist 2 got the last show of the day. There were no multiplexes back then.
Was it the Chinese theater, that famous picture of the line around the block for Star Wars? Fire!
The one guy that was in line for Exorcist 2.
Yeah. Excuse me. Out of the way, please. Here to see cinema. There's this incredible... Ben sent it to me, and we joked about it. It's been a while, but it was outside the Chinese theater after the premiere of Batman, the 89 one with Michael Keaton.
Uh-huh.
This guy is just like railing on it, like, I found it wholly unrealistic and not true to the source material. And he's wearing a Halloween 4 t-shirt. Doing a little bit of fantasy booking here. Let's say that, this is a year before Halloween. Donald Pleasance gets the gig here as the Richard Burton role.
Man.
Sure.
Like, I know we would be more interested watching it today, right? Because we're like, it's Pleasance. I have a connection to the doc. But I don't know how much he could do with the character.
And I don't know how much he could do opposite Louise Fletcher, because we talked about, he's so good in Wake and Fright, but he is like, the doc was always very Shakespearean delivery with, the things he would say. So I think there's a chance comedically it would have aged better.
I mean, Burton is, I know he has the British accent, but he's also the way that he's delivering the dialogue.
No nonsense, this guy.
Yeah.
He pulled Linda Blair aside and told her he can't sanction her buffoonery.
This is now an important franchise.
Dignified actors.
But see, that's the problem. Right? By this point in the first movie, we already cared about everybody. And here, I guess we kind of care about Reagan because we know her from the previous movie. But, like this dude, he's not Father Karras.
No. Damn me. Well, also, too, the Damien Karras character, what happens when we meet him? We immediately learn about everything in his life and his surroundings. We have a reason to care. Also, right. Jason Miller is really good in that movie, but like this guy was just literally in the first scene. It's like, all right, here's the priest.
He's going to watch some fucked up stuff. And then
remember Father Karras? He's back in Pog form. And we already mentioned Ellen Burstyn, but like, dude, come on. You're going to make an Exorcist movie, a direct sequel, and Ellen Burstyn's not going to be part of it? All alone.
This is a little bit of the first movie, The Exorcist, had focused more on Father Merrin and not on Karras. Karras was like the relatable priest. And Merrin was just a superstar that comes in at the end and he's all serious. And that's what Richard Grant is going for, the Merrin approach instead of the Karras approach. So he's not relatable.
Wears makeup to bed like that? All right, who fucking cares? This is the stuff here of...
This is the padding.
Yeah. This is all those Star Wars books and offshoots. Like Star Trek has all that shit too. That's what this is. There's an audience for it, but by and large, who gives a fuck?
An expanded universe.
That's the phrase I was looking for. What's up, Max?
What is this shot, Alex? What are we?
Dude, like if I didn't know better, I would think that this movie was in 3D, and that was like one of the things they were trying to. I mean, that's a good shot where she wakes up next to that painting.
Yeah. But that's the thing, right? Like you sat down at the board meeting, the executives at Paramount or Warner Brothers, whatever, and they're like, all right, we have to make a sequel to The Exorcist because it made so much money. What is it going to be about? What do we do?
The guy just, they reconvene 2 weeks later. The Miles Finch-esque man just sits down. He's like, got this idea I'm really psyched about. Locust. It's like the Bible.
Remember the opening of The Exorcist? What if that was throughout the entire movie? Just keep cutting back to,
yes.
Exotic locations.
Remember all the shit in the first one that no one remembers or talks about?
Let's make them remember. Like, all right, well, slight problem. We only have, once again, Father Merrin for maybe 5 days. Well, he doesn't have to be in those shots. It's unsurprising that Linda Blair did not come back for the third one.
I do love her Nepo baby apartment here. Look at that balcony. Also, why is it open like that? You can just fall off.
She doesn't have a dog.
Opening of Antichrist. Except there's no graphic close-up of a penis entering a vagina.
It's only one Von Trier in the history of film.
This is true. Much like there is only one exorcist.
So this lady, her assistant, Reagan's assistant, is she the same
Not
actress
Mia
from...
Farrow?
Yes. Is she the assistant from the first movie? Who was her mom's assistant, Ellen Burstyn's assistant?
Oh, I didn't even consider that. Good morning, Sharon.
Like, if Kitty, it's not the same actress, is it at least the same character?
Good call. Same character, same actress.
We can't get Ellen Burstyn back, but can we get her assistant?
Signor Spielbergo.
There it is.
Your mother.
You've seen Thank You for Smoking, right?
Uh-huh.
Do you remember this line was in the trailer? It's when Aaron Eckhart is meeting with Chris from Parks and Rec, Rob Lowe. He's meeting with Rob Lowe, and he's pitching. Rob Lowe is a movie executive, and they're making a movie in space, and he's like, yeah, we need to put some cigarettes there. And Aaron Eckhart is like, but it's space, you can't smoke in space. And Rob Lowe goes like, oh, we'll just fix it with just one line. Oh, thank God we invented the whatever, and then that takes care of it.
Yeah.
That line over there from the assistant was just like, that was something your mom couldn't do before she went on location. That's how the Rob Lowe at the executive office fix it. It's like, but what about Ellen Burstyn? Oh, we'll just fix it. Just have somebody say, oh, she's on location, and that takes care of it.
See, there's the stairs. Because again, we want to constantly remind people of how incredible the first one was. You're watching, you and me, we're the age we are in 1977. We're fired up as fuck about Exorcist II. At this point, we already have to know this thing's off the rails, right?
Oh, yeah. I'm telling you, the machine would have done it.
Yeah.
I guess at this point, I would hope that maybe
the machine was somehow Palpatine returned.
Yes. But I think that it's still kind of early enough in the movie that I'm thinking maybe we're about to get into something interesting that takes us.
Maybe that was just a misstep, but they're going to pull it back around. Yeah.
Because honestly, yes, because we've watched the movie now all the way to the end, we know that all those flashbacks in Africa or wherever it is that he's, the past adventures of Father Merrin, we know that they don't add up to anything, that they're not worth our time. So that's why when we see them now, we just resent them. But watching them for the first time in theaters, maybe we'll be thinking, this is leading somewhere cool. This is going to make it all worth it.
Holy shit. James Earl Jones, I just realized, racking it up, man. At least visibility wise. He had this and Star Wars at the same time.
What do you think he shot first? Was he telling the people at Star Wars in the sound booth, when he's telling them about The Exorcist II? Like, I don't know about this. Or was he telling Burton and Borman, like, I don't know about this George Lucas guy. He had some weird ideas.
Imagine more of that, because, he's got me voicing over this character, and it's going to be in space. There's this little shit named Mark Hamill, thinks he runs the place. Just imagine, him talking to Richard Burton, being like, it's the fourth one. And he's like, well, where are the first three? And he's like, they haven't even come out yet.
They're in his head.
It'll never work.
The way you do movies is with a proper chronology. First The Exorcist, then The Exorcist II. This is literally a pretty shameless, let's go back to the first movie as much as we can. I'd forgotten how bad it is. That he's back at the house, and he literally had this lady walk him over what happened in the first movie. And it's not the first time the movie's done it, because we had Reagan and Fletcher talking about the past before too. It's a sequel that refuses to move on from the first one. There's your 3D shot again, Alex.
Jesus. I do love that the house has been, like, condemned. The barbed wire on the outside was a nice touch. Now, I mean, especially the location of this. Imagine now, all these rich fucking Gen Zers be like, The Exorcist, I'm thinking in the universe of this movie. They're like, that's where this happened? I'll pay $1.7 million.
I'll just shoot all my TikToks.
I can make my damn it, I was going to say, I can record my TikToks here.
I think maybe a better way of going about it would have been, sorry, Linda Blair, but we just catch up with Reagan as an adult. And she is doing what Louise Fletcher does in this movie. She's grown up to be an adult, a psychiatrist that helps troubled children through their experiences. And she finally meets somebody that makes her remember what happened to her when she was a kid.
Oh, that dick still work, Father?
Just refusing to emote.
The fit god Linda Blair stumbling into frame. We're back to this fucking machine.
This is where I would have just said, do you want to walk out? Do you want to go see something else? I wouldn't. It's very rare. in all my years on this earth going to the movies that I've actually walked out of a movie. It's happened a couple times, but it's not something I like to do. I like to stick it out. That way I can talk shit saying, I did watch the whole thing. You can't tell me it got better at the end.
Yeah, the only movies I've ever walked out of are things I was screening.
So,
more lore about the locust.
Yes. So this young Von Sydow.
Yeah.
I hope that this fly or whatever, I guess it's a locust.
Yeah.
I hope it gets its name on the opening credits, because by now it's got plenty of screen time. But okay, so this is young Von Sydow, young Father Merrin. I guess this is what he looked like back then, and they just aged him in the first movie.
I guess.
Because technology was not good enough for them to rejuvenate him for this movie. And he still kind of looks old, but...
Wait, they have guns? I didn't catch that the first time around.
Yeah, shoot the locusts. You seen that movie with Hilary Swank?
Probably not.
About, I think it's called The Deadly Plagues or The Plagues, or it's basically her against the deadly plagues.
Oh no! Kids
Creepy.
getting eat up.
Final piece of the puzzle.
At this point, I go, what? In the theater.
This is where you start looking around to see if anybody else is having the reaction that you are. That's
evil spirits of the air.
Pazuzu, cousin of Payman.
Just letting out a big, oh my God, who cares?
This is like, you can listen to our episode. We didn't really care for Hereditary, but it's like if they did the Hereditary sequel and it was just about the backstory of Payman.
Yeah.
Like, who gives a fuck? I want to hear what Max von Sydow had to say about this movie.
It's just like, it's what we always joke about with bad sequels. It took everything interesting. Damn. Just into the abyss. Like, there's nothing relatable about any of this. There's no normal, like, average viewer that's going to watch this whole sequence of the film and be like, man, imagine if that happened to me.
Or they go like, oh, so that's what he was doing when he was young.
Yeah.
I get it now.
Here we go. Darth Vader. Old Man Myrtle. Oh no, I jumped the gun. I thought this was when he came in, but not yet.
I was looking at it, I was like, that's not
yeah, I thought I heard his voice, but no, yeah, I thought I heard his voice for a second, but it's just Max bringing the heat with that audible chocolate.
He's channeling James Earl Jones.
There you go. Dog, Who gives a shit? It's exactly what you said, though. Just the pitch room. Like, how is this going over? Like, how Warner Brothers are like, so you know,
So
the
we
guy
can
just
sell
kinda,
action figures of the Locusts.
he's like the guy like thumbing through. You know, he thumbs through about 14 or 15 pages. He's like, so we're still on the Locust, huh? But then why does she know any of this shit? Or like, why is she connecting to this? The 3D shot.
So bad. By now, like the rowdy teenagers in the auditorium are throwing shit at the screen.
I'm sure there's a fascinating, like,
but
yeah. Hey, the zebras. Like, imagine the editor on this, like, putting it together, like, what the fuck?
It's the same editor from the first movie.
Yeah. You know, just the telltale half-empty bottle of booze next to him. Just
they called him. He didn't even know that they were making the second Exorcist, but they were like, hey, you want to edit this? And he just remembered having such a good time with the first one. And he's like, what the fuck is this?
neither Blatty nor Friedkin had any desire to involve themselves in this. This was because they had filed lawsuits against both the studio and each other over profits credits, and Blatty being barred from the post-production during the first film. Yeah, we know about that. There we go. What the fuck? Oh my God.
So bad.
It's so good too because they keep coming back to Richard Burton, who has the headgear on still. Look at him, what an idiot. See, also from the perspective, like, okay, you can make the argument that she didn't know it was still in her, like the first go around they did that, right? But why is Reagan just like voluntarily being like this science experiment for them? That
yeah,
boy.
I don't know if he like, was she lying to the assistant earlier when she almost stepped off the roof? And she's like, oh, the pigeons woke me. Does she not remember that she had a nightmare?
Yeah. She's like, how did I end up here? I'm not supposed to be on the ledge of my balcony. Oh. What's that gal eating? Is that a donut? Yeah. Man, when's the last time you had one of those? One of those little just tiny powdered donuts you buy in the bag?
It's been a while.
Yeah, same.
Because I know they're like Pringles. You can't just eat one.
Oh, accurate. They're connecting.
Just gonna say Pazuzu. It's RFK. Watch The Exorcist II. This is one of the things that he shows in his presentations.
It's that whole autism being a spectrum. I'm pretty convinced everyone's a little autistic in some capacity. But back then, that, you know, look at the way they're framing this. It was such a dirty word.
Yeah.
That is RFK. He's like, we need to go back to these days.
I am not autistic, but I was possessed by a demon.
We're the same. Oh my God.
What is the purpose of this?
So Reagan's a healer now. For those of y'all who are just listening to this and maybe not watching or haven't seen it, what just happened in the scene is Reagan talks to a small girl in the waiting room of the institution that they're in. And she reveals to Reagan that she's autistic and she has a hard time speaking. Her mom comes out and the girl speaks to her. And we learn then that I guess that she hadn't spoken quite some time, if ever. And so I guess Reagan has the touch for good now. There is a really funny moment, though, where the girl says, I'm autistic. And then she asks Reagan, like, why are you here? And Reagan goes, I was possessed by a demon.
I think the Blair is trying, man, but she's just trapped in a movie that's trash.
She is trying, but it's also this weird thing of the movies. Again, the script being ass. Like, there's this weird insistence on her just being, like, too good, too saccharine. Yeah. Louise Fletcher's motherfucking her right now for talking to that kid.
I think it's funny because they're into diametrically opposed sides. Like, Linda Blair is trying, and Burton is barely trying.
Yeah.
Sexual tension you could cut with a knife.
I'm not.
How do you feel about the fact that this movie tells you that Father Karras failed in the first movie? Because she still has Pazuzu inside her.
Makes me angry, Julio.
Good. It should.
That's like the most awesome, like the most noble thing that happens in The Exorcist is Father Karras takes the demon and then kills it by killing himself. Now we're at the museum, but circling back to your question, Julio, yeah, it makes me angry. And like I was starting there, it's so awesome and noble the way the first Exorcist ends, and then more so, there's no fucking last stand tease at the ending of like, maybe this will go on some more. Like, it's not like we catch Reagan's eye in a certain light and there's this like glow of
right.
That's like it's so silly that it's still trapped in her. It's exactly what you said, though. There was a meeting at Warner Brothers like, well, this movie made $450 million, so get at it. And now they're on a date looking at the evolution of man.
That's not a date. That is, what would you call it? Like a mentorship.
Be very problematic.
Yes. Like Louise Fletcher didn't quite get there, but Reagan, because she's possessed. I think that you could have done it. You could even bring Pazuzu back. Just don't bring Reagan back. You can just have Pazuzu possess someone else. A new priest gets involved. And then you have your Exorcist sequel. You have the one thing connecting it is that it's the same demon. Or you can grab the priest that did from the end of the last movie, right? Father Karras' friend.
Mm-hmm.
And he finds himself involved in exorcism, and he recognizes the experience from having been Father Karras' friend, and that's your in.
Listen to this shit about the fucking playwright William Goodhart, who penned the screenplay. Goodhart's screenplay took a more metaphysical and intellectual approach compared to the original film. The battle between good and evil would center on human consciousness, with the specific idea that within the framework of Catholic theology, human consciousness could be brought together as one through technology, although this would also result in conflict between those two, those who sought good and evil. You could just say your script sucked, dude. It'd be a lot quicker and easier.
Seems to me you tried to make the Exorcist franchise a science fiction franchise. Got a new name, Alex. Kokomo, isn't that a Beach Boys song?
That is like, the way someone vaguely familiar, your uncle would pronounce it. Yeah, Kokomo.
Is Kokomo James Earl Jones?
Is that right? Yeah, because he's the boy.
Yeah. Nobody cares.
Yeah, that's the whole thing. This is so boring. Like, fucking give me James or like, what do we want Jason Miller and Max von Sydow talking about all this shit? No.
Not even this cardinal is interested in what Richard Burton is saying.
That's a well-framed shot right there, but it's just like, at what cost?
You're suspended without pay. Hand in your badge. I guess if they suspend you, you're a priest, you hand in your rosary. You get Reagan with the Dark Knight shot.
Nice. Very important to call out. We're only halfway through this movie.
And we're already sick of it.
Yeah.
So Richard Burton is doing this on his own dime, right? The church has officially told him, stop it.
Those are not hiking shoes, brother.
He's
like,
struggling
what is
a lot
this?
more.
Like, look at this. What is this? If you went to the bathroom 5 minutes ago and came back, you're like, what is going on? Those kids are just chilling in that hot tub there.
So I go to the bathroom, I come back to this. I turn around and go to the bathroom again, hoping that when I come back again, it'll be back
be better.
to the city.
Brother.
So obviously this is where they shot some of the, maybe all of the Max von Sydow flashbacks. So it's conceivable that at some point Richard Burton and Max von Sydow cross paths in this set, at this location.
Just when they came in here, von Sydow's like, in a loincloth, just like, chanting along and dancing. Okay, so my sleuthing continues. Our screenwriter here, William Goodhart, it sounds like he got the screenplay credit, but the actual script ended up not resembling what he had written. So maybe I was a bit harsh on him. Linda Blair, this is a quote from her. It was a really good script at first. Then after everybody signed on, they rewrote it 5 times and it ended up being nothing like the original movie.
Who rewrote it? It doesn't say.
Borman and Rospo Pallenberg. Looks like Borman, the director, told Goodhart to rewrite his script and he wouldn't do it. And so they brought in other people to, and it was being rewritten during shooting, which is always good, Julio.
Yes, always a good sign.
At one point, while shooting, the filmmakers were uncertain as to how the story would end.
All they had a big line that didn't have anything, and then a big dollar sign at the end.
Yeah, step 3, profit. Exorcist II was beset by numerous problems during production. Borman contracted a case of San Joaquin Valley fever, a respiratory fungal infection. That sounds like shit. This canceled production for over a month. Yeah, that would be a costly delay. Other problems included footage being oversaturated and necessitating reshoots. Can't imagine. The rapid deaths of locusts imported from England for the film's climactic scenes. 2,500 locusts were shipped in and died at the rate of 100 a day. Original film editor John Merritt quitting the production. What were we just saying a few minutes ago, Julio? He was replaced by Tom Priestley, and stars Kitty Wynn and Louise Fletcher, both suffering from gallbladder infections. That's a random coincidence. Linda Blair said that Pallenberg directed a lot of the film as well as doing rewrites. Looks like in the closing credits, Pallenberg is credited as second unit director and a creative associate. Yeah, I bet the editor did quit. Like, fuck this.
This is not what I signed up for. I signed up for an Exorcist movie, not whatever this is.
Father Lamont. Outstanding outfit on Louise Fletcher here.
Alex, maybe this is the year, not this year, next year. Maybe next year is the year that we do the perplexing follow-ups to Oscar wins project.
Ooh.
Because now that you've told me that this is what Louise Fletcher did after winning for One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, it makes it even sadder.
I'm not watching this movie again, but yes, we can figure out other folks to bring in.
Yeah.
I mean, he didn't win, but we could still do Iron Man 2 for Mickey Rourke, because that's what he cashed in on his award season. I was trying to remember what Cuba Gooding Jr.'s was. I looked it up. It was As Good as It Gets, so his wasn't very quizzical. I think he made a good choice there.
Yeah, but he's like in 5 minutes of As Good as It Gets. Because usually you follow your Oscar win with a leading role, or at least a co-leading role, which is what Fletcher did here. She's one of the main characters. Cuba Gooding Jr. is objectively a supporting character, a minor supporting character, and As Good as It Gets.
I see what you mean. Kokomo?
Who was asking for this? I keep thinking, why are we?
It makes sense that if they were rewriting the script while they're fucking, shooting it, that they're just flying by the seat of their pants. And but yeah, still, there had to be someone from the studio that came by one day and like, what the fuck are we doing?
What happened to the locusts?
Okay, so the most obvious one is in front of us. Catwoman is Halle Berry followed up Monsters Ball with Catwoman.
Oh, man.
Okay, I resent this. They're slandering Tommy Lee Jones for worst follow-up because he was in Batman Forever after The Fugitive. As discussed over the summer, both great films.
Yes, both great films, both great performances.
They have Cuba on here. I forgot about Radio was a follow-up to Jerry Maguire.
Musical interlude, Alex. I bet by now you'd forgotten that the first time we saw Reagan, she was practicing a dance routine on stage.
Okay, that one I knew. Louis Gossett Jr. That's always the famous one of when he won for Officer and Gentleman. The next movie he did was Jaws 3D, starring the incomparable Leah Thompson.
Those franchises really get you. I don't want to jinx myself, but we're like halfway through the movie and I still haven't gotten a commercial.
Nice. I've gotten some for all of us. Pazuzu. Michael Caine. We talk about that it's always one that comes up, the Jaws Revenge episode, because he won his fucking Oscar and wasn't there to receive it because he was off filming Jaws the Revenge. La Revancha. Julio, I'm not being over cynical. This is just really boring, right?
It is extremely boring. It's so boring. People keep walking away from Richard Burton. Like, we don't care about whatever you're saying. I'm pretty sure I've made this comment with some other franchise or movie, but
oh, they're stoning him. Oh no, and she's feeling it because they're connected.
So there was a purpose to this musical number.
This is legit Halloween 5, dude. Tina.
Well, I'm glad you connected the dots to Halloween, because I was going to say we need a Taking Shape like book about the Exorcist franchise. Taking Pazuzu.
It's just and dude, we're obviously going to talk about this more and more as we go through. Halloween is my favorite movie of all time, but like, I don't know if I'd consider it high art. You know what I mean? The Exorcist is legitimately one of the most famous movies that's ever been made. And the fact that it has like these follow-ups that most people you would talk to don't even really acknowledge. You know what I mean? It's like Halloween's a great example. There's a reason there's that Taking Shape, because if anyone knows the Halloween franchise, it's quickly going to devolve into like your thoughts on, the 9,000 sequels that came out. With The Exorcist, people talk about The Exorcist, and then sometimes, especially like boomers and shit, like my mom didn't even know there was a second one. Like, it's, and she remembers as a kid, like The Exorcist, she always is really dramatic. She always says the whole thing of, I didn't sleep for a week after I saw that movie. Like I showed her The Exorcist 3 a few years ago. She had never heard of it, and she liked it, but her thing was just like, well, why did they think The Exorcist needed a sequel? I was like, well, there's this stuff called currency.
And let me tell you, they thought that again and again.
So watching this, it's funny the way the movie kind of evolves as it goes on, because I thought it was going to turn into Linda Blair Fit Watch, because she shows up looking pretty flossy in a few of her opening scenes, but it really turns into Louise Fletcher Fit Watch, because at first you think she's going to be wearing her boring fucking, doctor clothes. What are we doing? What?
I was going to say, it also turns into Richard Burton traveling around the world.
After being stoned, is he in France? I mean, they're speaking French.
Somebody's carrying a cross, but he's not in as much pain as Will Patton in Minari.
Try to get him to yeet. Ned Beatty. Great, that guy, actor.
Yeah. Forgot that he was in this.
I told you about trying to get Jesus to yeet in Las Vegas, right?
No.
Jey Uso was one of the wrestlers that was in one of the high profile matches, and his thing is yeet, and he takes his like two hands and he, like you were trying to wave someone down, he goes like rhythmically to his song and goes yeet. And WrestleMania Sunday this year was on Easter. I apologize in advance to any of our Christian listeners that I'm going to offend with this, but there was a group of very strong Christians, a coalition that was out on the strip, and they had a guy who sounds so dismissive to say cosplaying, but there's a guy as Jesus with like, the holes in his hands and shit, and he was carrying the cross. He was dragging it to like remind us all of what Easter's all about, and these Christians
down
were yelling
the strip.
At us. And they were yelling at us about going to hell, and we intersected with them. For those who have been to Vegas, like by New York, and at the post of the strip, there's those intersecting escalators, and we were going down as Jesus and the whole brigade were coming up with a cross, and we kept going, yeet, Jesus, yeet for us, yeet, Jesus, yeet. And the guy goes, it was one of the guys goes, there will be no yeeting in hell, and it was like, condemning us. My friend Adam, who was with us, is a man of very strong faith, and so I kind of for a minute felt bad about it, but he was laughing about it too. And for the rest of the trip, he would remind me there will be no yeeting in hell.
I'm glad that's cleared up.
Yes,
we shall expect no yeeting.
Look at him just walking, and they're all looking at him like, "Who the fuck is this?"
Sadly, Ned Beatty is gone. He was there.
Okay. Yeah, we hardly knew ye.
At this point, Gokumo has to be James Earl Jones. Otherwise,
yes. Yeah, he is.
Build-up is just wasted.
I'd forgotten how fucking long it takes to get to this, but yeah, he's going to be he's dressed up as a locust. Was the idea that if we have the right lighting and like the shot is far enough away, people momentarily think that Louise Fletcher is Ellen Burstyn?
If they're not paying attention.
That was a sick shot.
Yeah.
Production design is popping here. Even like this stuff that we're talking about how boring it is, it looks great, but it's just like, who fucking cares, man?
Yeah.
That's always really smart, Julio, just so you're aware. Go to some place you've never been to before, where you don't speak the language, where you are clearly an outlander, and just start like poking into other people's business and asking for someone, just be sure that's how you operate.
Kokomo?
Yeah.
Eventually, they go, oh.
If this movie had balls, this would be the scene where like they take him out drinking and they all get drunk and start singing fucking soccer anthems together.
Becomes Euro Trip, but in Africa.
My baby takes the march. Oh,
boobs.
Now we're cooking.
Apparently, Kokomo has many different meanings. So, Alex, this is a throwback to when Louis Fletcher asked him if he ever
needs a woman.
Be with a woman, yeah.
Yeah.
We've seen the answer.
Is this a 1-star or a half-star affair? If you're logging this on Letterboxd.
Pretty sure I gave it half a star.
Yeah, it's really bad, man.
I'll be mad at myself if I gave it anything beyond half a star. The movie's terrible.
This really feels like one of those movies Brandon Curtis would try to make a case for.
He would champion it.
Yeah. He always has those random ones where I'm like, dude, you're doing a bit. You can't be serious about this. See, like, that looks good, but I don't care. Richard Burton's been out all night chasing pussy. You know?
Being chased by pussy.
He's got that stink on him.
You know, you want to just yell.
See, look at that. That's awesome. But okay, now he's like leaning back and forth.
Kokomo,
Kokomo, I'm coming to get you. So he has seen the face of James Earl Jones in that meditation hypnosis shit they do. But why is he like seeking him out?
I think the very convoluted backstory is that Kokomo survived an attack from Pazuzu. I think that's what he was saying.
But again, like, what does this mean? Yeah, like, is he trying to document it so the church knows how to fight it when it happens again in the future?
Because there needs to be a movie, Alex. Because if he says, fuck it, I'm going home, then the movie ends. I think
poor Reagan, man. She was living, she was thriving, and then she got sucked back into this shit.
I think maybe the way that they're rationalizing it is he knows that Reagan is not free of Pazuzu. There's still a demon inside her, and he doesn't have a way to get it out, but he can go talk to this guy who once overcame Pazuzu, and that way maybe he finds the key to save Reagan. Maybe. I'm like,
as we enter into the den of James Earl Jones dressed as a giant locust here. Remember the first one when like it was all based in like the realities of medicine? And of course he speaks perfect English despite all the other look at him, man. God bless James Earl Jones, but look at this.
It's kind of wild. Alex said, no, it's not, because you hadn't watched it. Now, of course, I remember, but we didn't bring this up when we did Conan. That has Max von Sydow in a small part and James Earl Jones in a big part. And, and you know, they're both part of two big franchises now, Conan and The Exorcist.
It was 5 years after this, man. I'd do anything.
James Earl Jones was like, okay, whatever you want, but do not dress me up as a locust. Been there, done that.
And this had to be almost a decade after his Oscar nomination for The Great White Hope. That movie was 70. Okay.
What you're saying is an Oscar nomination or win does not shield you from terrible decisions later in your career.
Just
what is this,
him.
Alex? He just spit out a tomato.
Yeah, I mean, that's a cool shot, but like, why? Yeah, he's telling Richard Burton here he has to cross over to test his faith, and now he has to walk over a bed of spikes. And this ain't nothing. Get my buddy Danny in there, deathmatch wrestler. He'll be fine.
I was about to say, is this one of those death matches or death cages?
I've seen plenty of bed of spike spots. That was actually the big show I went to in Arlington a few months back. All in. Oh. That was he should have done the fucking cell like Marv, what's his name? Daniel Stern in Home Alone when he steps on the nail. Ah! Falls backwards.
Look, we're making fun of the locust costume and the spikes and whatever, but that was the most interested I've been in a scene in a movie. And now James Earl Jones looks like a normal dude.
The score that accompanied it was also very good.
No. I mean, we both audibly reacted to him stepping on that spike.
Yep.
We're back to the boring shit.
My God. More about the fucking locust. Now I want to watch The Great White Hope. God, that movie's great. Not streaming anywhere. Thank God I own a DVD of
it. Okay, Brad Bird.
Remember the original Exorcist where William Friedkin was like, all right, we need more locusts.
Yeah. They didn't have the budget the first time around, so this time they did it to honor him.
I would almost... Friedkin probably never even watched this. He probably went to he met his maker having never seen this movie. But I love the idea of him sitting like in a private screening like, what the fuck is this? If you think that's a masterpiece, what is Citizen Kane?
Yeah, definitely whoever came up with the locust side plot angle on this story, they find locusts way more interesting or creepy than the average person.
It's the obsession with is it butterflies in Silence of the Lambs?
Yeah.
We are almost 90 minutes into this movie and we're talking about the good locust. I do love how James Earl Jones is just not giving a fuck in and out of this accent that he's doing.
Anytime somebody tried to correct him, he's like, I put on a locust costume for you.
Yeah. You want to consult the dailies? You really want to talk about this?
Did not
Reagan's been sleeping
commitment.
for approximately a month during this whole trip that Richard Burton's on. The fuck is this score right now? It's like a Christmas movie. Not one use of tubular bells so far. For shame.
Is that Burton coming back to America? Is that why
I
we
hope
see it
so.
playing?
I hope that means the movie's going to advance. So
she's going Christmas shopping.
It's so cold. Hair looks pretty good, Reagan, all things considered. My God.
You know, Ellen Burstyn didn't even make the time to go to her talent show earlier.
Okay. Are these her kids?
Yeah, I was going to say. We're about to finally find out about Liz Fletcher's personal life.
Something bad's happened. Kitty Wynn is reacting.
Who died? Richard Burton, like I said, the same face every scene.
undershirt he's got on. That's the most flair he showed off this entire movie.
He got it at the airport.
Yeah. It's like, I really don't splurge enough on myself.
He landed in America. It's like, fuck, I didn't buy a single souvenir.
Now she's back at the museum in her pajamas.
What is the significance of the museum? Is she going to see the locust exhibit?
I don't know.
Poor Linda Blair, exhausted being in this movie.
Fancy seeing you here. Oh, man.
He told me about locusts.
Is that a PlayStation 2?
It's a Switch.
Man, settle down on the rugs there, Fletcher.
I'm gonna find her, I'm gonna find him, and I'm going to kill Pazuzu.
I'm gonna kill Pazuzu. So they just get like a really seedy hotel room,
right? Because that's
Yeah.
why you had that woman with the cigarette peeking.
You had the fella with his shirt off standing in the hallway. We just need to establish what's going on here. Like, this is so dumb. Because even like if we just want to break down, do you see her apartment? And she doesn't have a job that we know of. They could be at the Four Seasons right now.
Well, I guess he knows that the doctor is coming for them. So
yeah, they gotta hide themselves.
Yeah. So man, that entire bullshit trip to Africa that took up like maybe 30 minutes of movie was just so he could come back and tell Reagan, yeah, they told me that there's good and evil within you, so we have to fight. Like, that's it? That's all the intel?
And you're really missing that like Wayne's World-esque shot of a character asking Richard Burton, it's like, do you really think that whole trip was necessary?
I think he called this thing the synchronizer. Did Linda Blair act in any movies after this for a while, or was she traumatized by the experience?
Good question. Well, she was in that Mel Brooks movie that was like a parody.
As part of the therapy.
Yeah. Exorcist II, The Heretic in 1977. There's a television film she was in called Stranger in Our House, also known as Summer of Fear. Wild Horse Hank. Roller Boogie. Man, this looks real bad. Again, the Christmas soundtrack we got going on here.
So in this weekend, 1977, who hosted SNL? Richard Burton or Linda Blair?
When Lauren asked me to host, I said, Lauren, why me? I mean, my new movie, The Exorcist II, is out this Friday. Looking up if Linda Blair ever hosted Saturday Night Live. Because, you don't put it past them, because, like, Drew Barrymore hosted when she was a little kid. Looks like there was a skit in 1978 in which Carrie Fisher played Linda Blair in the skit. That sounds fun. But this was the summer anyway, so I don't think there would have been a new episode that weekend.
Special edition.
Yeah.
She just kept the synchronizer in a drawer.
Jesus.
The most powerful advanced technology. They didn't even lock it.
That's an awesome Simpsons joke of, like, Mr. Burns and Smithers are trying to get to the, like, control panel of the entire, like, the city's power supply, and they go through, like, retina scans and, handprint scans, and, like, this, they have these keys they have to turn at the same time, and it's this whole thing, and then they finally get to the control panel, and there's a screen door next to it that's open, and there's a dog, like, wandering in.
She's still in her pajamas.
I took the synchronizer. She's talking like Tatum O'Neal and Paper Moon all of a sudden.
I won my $30. So Richard Burton is possessed or something in a trance.
I was looking up what was closest in proximity in 1977 Saturday Night Live wise, cookie wise. Madeline Kahn hosted in October of that year. That'd be interesting.
Speaking of Paper Moon.
Yep. Steve Martin hosted twice. O.J. Simpson hosted on February 25th of 1978. Christopher Lee. He's possessed, I believe, Julio. Or he's just reflecting upon the atrocities he committed en route to finding Kokomo.
It's Richard Burton, the actor, reflecting on the many rewrites. He's given up.
Normal.
Call the cops.
I mean, that shot's sick as fuck. Yeah, Linda Blair actually did make quite a bit. I mean, she
didn't let this experience discourage her from the world of acting.
But I mean, I'm sorry, Linda, but what on earth? Can't play Jesus, can't play Superman, can't play Reagan in The Exorcist. That's kind of, you don't have many options after that.
Fletcher, I thought you were in a hurry.
She was in a romantic comedy in 1989 called Up Your Alley, which could also easily be the title of a porn. Oh man, this sounds very late 80s, early 90s. While pursuing a story on homelessness, an undercover reporter, Blair, finds romance with a transient played by Murray Langston.
It's not The Exorcist, but
Oh no.
there's your soundtrack, Alex.
Why don't you lose some weight, Porky?
So they're flying. Burton and Blair are taking the train. Wouldn't Fletcher and the assistant arrive soon? Faster, like sooner than these two?
I would think so. Depends on
So
if they have a layover.
chill?
Yeah. Grab a few beers at the airport.
Yeah.
See, like that was a really good shot. It's still going. Look at this. Wonderful. Hey, oh. Might have been the best shot in the whole film. Repossessed was the name of the movie. I was trying to figure it out. That was it wasn't Mel Brooks, but it was a parody film. It was a Leslie Nielsen style parody film. And
Okay.
Linda Blair is in it playing a possessed girl. Ned Beatty is also in that movie. What am I thinking? What's the Mel Brooks? You've talked about it before. It's like a parody of horror movies. Is it a vampire thing?
Young Frankenstein.
No. I'm aware of that.
Dracula Dead and Loving It.
Yes, that's what I'm thinking of.
Okay, that is Leslie Nielsen.
Is it?
Yeah, he plays Dracula.
But Mel Brooks directed it. Yes, okay.
Yeah,
I knew there was a connection somewhere along the way. I think he was on one of the writers too.
Yeah, and he plays Van Helsing.
Back to the scene of the crime. And that shot's also cool. It's annoying me how good looking the third act of this movie is.
Somehow they made it before Fletcher and the assistant.
God damn, dude, we still have 15 fucking minutes left in this movie.
Alex, explain this to me. Why is it that Fletcher and the assistant didn't beat them to the house?
Well, maybe the government was shut down, and so there was like a massive delay on their flight.
There you go.
You and I have watched enough of these things, Julio. This whole sequence of events happening like feels like it's being written as they're doing it, you know?
And then they get on a plane, and then there's traffic.
Because this is so unexciting.
Yeah.
Like, it's like, okay, and then they get to the house, and then what? Establishing shots while we wait for the other two to get there. You know, we're at an hour 40 already in this movie.
It's just like the pure laziness of course, locusts. You know, they've been establishing locusts for
loci
for so long. They had to be a part of the climax. But I was saying, it's such a...
That was a sick shot. That was like, yeah, this... some of this looks really good. Oh, no! They just happen to crash into the house that they need to get into. The driver's going to get out, and Gene Hackman's going to approach the scene. The driver's going to say, it's been a really tough year, Pop.
So they're back at Reagan's old house.
Correct.
Okay.
I don't know where all the locusts came from, but
that's the thing. You don't have to worry about creating anything of resonance because you can just go to the location from the previous movie and that does all the work for you. You know what I mean?
exactly.
Like, they don't have to establish anything. They're like, oh, we'll just have them go back to the house from the first Exorcist, and that's it. That's where the ending happens.
Remember how hard we were living doing when we were at this point in the first Exorcist? We're like, God, this is awesome.
It led to us questioning the motives, but in a good way, right? It's like, what's the meaning of this? What is the movie saying? And
our conversation at no point last time devolved into trying to remember which movies Mel Brooks did and didn't direct. So, Sharon.
And that car got fucked up.
Now she's possessed.
Not Sharon.
Oh, no. See, now also... Oh, my God. The most interesting thing in the movie for a while there that we're talking about is Louise Fletcher's like internal battle with being a doctor, and then she just like accepts this thing that she's tried to offer all these, explanations for, medically speaking, and now she's just like, we got to get Pazuzu. Reagan has come face to face with
Reagan
her former
versus
self.
Reagan.
Well, that's quite the Pazuzu you have there, young girl. Sharon?
Okay, for a second I thought she was peeing herself.
I was going to say, what a throwback.
Yeah. Awful.
Julio, this sucks.
We crossed the point of no return a long time ago, but this is just... And then we get sexy possessed Reagan, and she's going to seduce Richard Burton.
Oh my God. What a bump there by Linda Blair. Okay, for those not watching, Richard Burton went to throw her against the wall, but like the distance was so far that Linda Blair sold it like she just got Irish whipped into the ropes. She just like took this running bump into it. It was tremendous. Now we're talking about locusts. Can we go back to James Earl Jones and the locust outfit? Like, look at this. Can you believe that's the same movie?
How bad do you feel for Linda Blair now that she has to play sexy possessed Reagan?
Oh, this sucks, man. That's poor. In addition to just like the mental shit that came along with doing that first movie, just from an acting perspective, I imagine she had to be somewhat disillusioned after this, for such a young age.
That's what I was asking, if she took a break from acting, because this is an awful experience. I mean, that's it. It seems to me that it would be an awful experience. You make something that's really good, and then
Oh my
I mean,
God.
after this, how could you trust the creative process?
Well, it certainly wasn't January 6th, but a lot of locusts are storming the Capitol building.
There are some good locusts in there.
There's bad locusts on each side,
Yeah. Louis Fletcher literally just bumbling about in the middle of the climax.
She's running around the streets. There's not a human in sight, and she's yelling and running in circles like a goddamn buffoon. And now we get our 3D shot.
I guess this is the evil locust, the evilest of the locusts. Richard Burton keeps splitting his time between assaulting good Reagan and then fighting evil Reagan.
I wonder if those are real locusts or just like, pieces of paper or something. Because fuck that. Having that, like, those fucking things like shot out of a cannon at you.
We learned, Alex, that they were dying at the rate of 100 a day. So
that's right. That could have just been all the dead ones that they scoop up and just shoot and put into like a fucking confetti cannon.
Every time they yell cut, Richard Burton spits out a couple of dead locusts from his mouth.
The things we do for this craft.
Like, it should mean something that you're seeing such an iconic location from the first movie come apart.
Mm-hmm. All I want to do is just roll my eyes. Yeah.
Yeah. Actually, I think if the locusts are going to get in someone's mouth, it would be Linda Blair's, because she's the one that's doing most of the screaming.
I think this would definitely be one of those movies that if someone like oh no. It's one of those that just, if someone came at me with actually it's the best, it's better than the original, I'd just be like, we're not having this conversation. Like I wouldn't even entertain an argument about it. Yeah. Oh shit. We're going to fall off the edge of the cell. Oh my God. A Reagan divided amongst itself cannot stand. There goes the bed. Oh,
it's
man.
the bed from the first movie where everything happened.
Okay, so now this is just Carrie. Oh my God.
She's doing the thing from the flashbacks.
It was at this point that they were like, oh fuck, we need to pay off that stuff in the beginning. Which is, I don't even know what she's doing. She's trying to ring the dinner bell. And they're dropping to her feet.
Yeah, she's the master of the locusts. Ellen Burstyn's gonna come next morning. Go, Reagan!
What did you do to my room? Oh, man. And again, the score we have accompanying this is like it's like she found her dad like coming home on Christmas Eve when she thought he was going to miss it. And now Richard Burton's, not just from this movie, but from acting, walking away. He's like, I'm done.
Alex, Louise Fletcher didn't do a damn thing in this climax.
She didn't. She did not. She watched, what is it, Kitty Wynn blow herself up, self-immolate, as they say. And she was tangled in barbed wire. Oh, God. No. Oh, my God. Fuck off. You happy with yourself, Reagan? You should have just said, nah, I'm good. I don't want you to do these experiments on me.
This is all your fault.
I was trying to see what Richard Burton did after this. Equus, The Medusa Touch, The Wild Geese, Absolution.
Linda Blair's just standing there like, well, what next?
Oh my God. Just complete betrayal here of Louise Fletcher's character. You imagine this, oh man, imagine, in this fantasy world where there is the multiplex, you're at this point in the movie, you and I are sitting there just miserable, like, and it's quiet, and we just hear from the other theater. Just thunderous applause coming like through, reverberating through the walls.
Both movies drop at the same time, so both audiences are coming out down the hallways talking about the movies.
Now a bunch of people show up. Could have used, I mean, the shot is great. The spiraling shot around Louise Fletcher, but she was, like I said, she was running around the street screaming for help. There's nobody, and now a fucking horde has showed up. What's going on here? That house isn't supposed to have fallen apart.
That's Ellen Burstyn's house.
And now artistically, yeah, do you see what's going on here? Yeah.
Yeah.
The movie ends with these, oof, brother. The movie ends with the, I guess the police lights or the flickering lights looking as though she's being examined by what was it called? The synchronizer?
The synchronizer. Yeah. So her last thing, she told Reagan that she believes now, but the world is not ready, and really thought that she was going to launch into the Commissioner Gordon speech from Dark Knight. And we're going to see Reagan. I mean, we did see Reagan and Richard Burton just kind of walk away into the horizon because they're not the heroes that the city needs or the city wants.
And then it's like Reagan gets on a bike pedaling away, and Richard Burton, so will Hunter because she can take it. Oh man, that was terrible. That is like a movie that I would give an F because it's just, it was a venture that never should have been taken. And that being following up The Exorcist with a sequel, but also like there's just nothing interesting about that movie, and it just comes across as lazy, uninspired, at times interesting just because of how baffling it is. But overall, that's an F for me, Julio. You're sticking by your half star?
Half a star. If it could be a quarter of a star, it would be a quarter of a star. It's just so bad. And it honestly, I guess it speaks to the power of the first one, that this was not a full stop. That somehow people said, well, let's try again.
It took the better part of 15 years, but we're going to get there. And man, I already love The Exorcist 3, but this is going to somehow Elizabethtown it even further. But that is what's next. As you're listening to this, it's Thanksgiving Day or the day before. And Exorcist 3 will be coming your way on Christmas, as there is an actual tie-in to Christmas in that movie as well. So, Julio, I think we're through the worst of these. I know it's kind of diminishing returns after 3, but I think we're through the worst.
5 is really bad, but I'm going to say not as bad as this. This is just perplexing. The only thing that was missing in this movie, Alex, was a Thanksgiving scene, and then it would have been perfect.
It would have. Yeah. George C. Scott joining us next time, though, along with Brad Dourif. Julio, I at least had fun riffing on this movie with you for the better part of 7 hours. So.
This is the only way I would recommend anybody watch Exorcist 2. Grab a friend and talk your way through it.
All right. 2 down. Several more to go. Next one is a stop I'm very excited about. So, Julio, listeners, I will see y'all next time.
Happy Thanksgiving.
That summer of 19